Welcome back to another episode of the S3 podcast. Today, we're just going over some of Mike and Woolie's OG automotive industry stories, some stupid stuff, and one of me super embarrassing at Grid Life. Stay tuned. All right, so how are we gonna introduce this? Should we start off with your buddy marrying a stripper in Vegas, or should we start with the Slinky Boy? Which one you guys want to go with?
I think Mike should start it. I feel like you got to ease into this story. Like I just can't start with it. So can you set the stage, Mike? I mean, you were only like 20. It was your 22nd birthday when it all finally went down. It had been building up for the week of SEMA.
Yeah. I mean, because my 21st birthday while we were there was pretty epic because that was the whole Scion party, which I think we've talked about on this before.
All right. R.I.P. Scion.
Oh, man, yeah, it still hurts. Yeah. So that happened. So yeah, we of course were trying to outdo ourselves again for my 22nd birthday out there at SEMA. And we had a whole crew of people. I remember that was the year that we kind of had the place off of the strip, like barely just off the beaten path. And we had a ton of guys in what was basically a gigantic apartment, right?
Yes,
it was
because
us, Joey Redmond.
We were all.
Monty was with us.
Yeah, we were broke AF, so we realized, let's just pile 17 dudes in this one little mini condo thing.
Mm-hmm.
I slept on.
Cool. It was very much college style.
Well, and that's to try and set the stage. Like I was kind of fresh off college. I was within a few years. You were like still in college, weren't you, Mike? Sort of. Yes.
Yeah, I was a senior.
So like, we're not condoning our behavior by any means, but like, we knew how to drink some beers. Like at that particular stage of our life, we had been training for it.
Yes, to give everybody like a reference point. What year is this? Like late
2007.
Okay.
2007. So I had gotten, we had been doing the magazine for a year. It was our second SEMA. My third SEMA technically, but it was our second with the magazine. So we have like, seriously 12 to 17 people staying in this like 2-bedroom little condo. I was sleeping in the kitchen all week. Like, the kitchen.
That sounds like the spot to be.
I was spooning with Brady every night until this story happened.
Yeah. Okay. So our buddy Joey Redmond, who he was shooting for S3 a little bit, but he was there with his own thing, not with S3.
He ran Wrecked magazine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, he was started Wrecked by that point, and Drift magazine. But so I guess he was texting or something with this chick he knew, and he was like bragging about the fact that she was a porn star, which might be inflating it a little bit. Yeah. But that was the thing, all week he was like, oh my gosh, yeah, this girl's saying she's going to come to Vegas or something, and she's a porn star, and I know her, and we're like, Yeah. But it was like setting the stage for like this super bad type of plot, right? Like it was just kind of building up. And I guess speaking of super bad, our buddy Brady, like literally is Jonah Hill from back then. That Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who this new skinny Jonah Hill guy is. I'm not convinced he's the same person. Our buddy Brady is the real old fat Jonah Hill.
I mean, like the hair, the spazzy kind of like, like he was like literally, I think they modeled Superbad after this dude. So maybe because he was a larger fellow, alcohol got to him fast. The guy would, get drinking fast. So long story short, this joke about this porn star, and the whole time Brady's sitting there going, oh man, I can't wait to meet her. And so like, this is like culminating all week long, and we keep joking about this girl that none of us really think exists. Yeah. So Friday, the last day of SEMA, it's over. Guess who shows up? This girl.
Knock on the door.
Knocks on the door.
We were just starting to pregame because it was the night of my birthday. remember we were starting to actually like do some real drinking, and then we get real knock on the door, and man, it was actually her. I don't know if she actually did porn. I never really looked into that part of it, but it was an attractive girl at the door to see us.
Yeah. So we go to this Mexican restaurant, and you know, we're, like I said, we're in shape for this. So we're partying, we're getting margaritas, and they're coming in coconuts and pineapples and all sorts of fun stuff, you know, and we're just having a grand old time. I don't know on whose dollar, because we didn't have any, but I don't know how that happened. We were having a good time. So, all right, we get done with dinner. And if I'm saying this wrong, correct me, because I might not remember it accurately. But I remember we're done. We decide to just walk the casinos and walk the strip. So we are just strutting through one of them dang casinos. I don't remember which one, but we're strutting through. And you know how they have those, like, you see them in the mall a lot, like those massage chairs, and they try and get you to get a massage in like a public place, and it's super awkward. And I don't know whoever does it. Well, anyway, he starts talking at our group as we're going by, and we've been drinking, so we decide to engage, you know, and we start messing with these guys, and they have these little electric impulse things. And Brady and said girl, actress, are like vibing at this point, you know, like it's
they're really clicking here.
No, I mean, like, I literally mean they are just enjoying each other's company. Like, we're all having a great time, but like they are kind of like literally just having extra fun, and so the people
what you want to call it.
I can't say it without it's innocent, but so these guys engage us and we engage back, and they talk about these little electric pulse things that they're like, yeah, you know, so as part of this massage, they're like, but you know what's really cool? If you stick one on you and one on, let's say this girl right here, and then you two kiss, you like feel the electricity. And so, you know, they had stuck one on Brady and one on the girl, and he's like, I mean, I'm down, you know, and she was like, okay. And so like they went to kiss. But then it was like this, like, for real kiss, and everybody got like quiet because, you know, we were all being loud and
became like hardcore making out really
and
fast.
It was like, and so when he finally, I remember this, he finally comes back to Earth, you know, and he goes, let's get married. And she goes, I'm down. And he was like, wait, are you serious? And she goes, yeah, I'll do it. And he was like, I'm not going to miss this chance. Let's get married, you know? And so he's like, right now. And so at that point, it's like full bore, and we're just like riding the energy of it, you know? And I don't think anybody really thinks it's going to happen, but it just like turned up the whole thing. So what happened at that point? We started calling everybody we knew that was
so the first thing we did, we got one of those massive limos.
Marty did that.
Marty got us a big limo. And it was one of the stretch F-350s or something. It was ridiculous, neon lights all over the place. And then me, being the stupid, know nothing about business person I was back at the time, was like, oh, let's get our advertisers out here to hang out with us. It'll be great. So I'm sorry, Blake Fuller and everybody else who advertised with us at the time.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, man, I think about these old days, and it is cringy because I remember specifically being in the like lobby of the Venetian with just a full 40-ounce, whatever it is, bottle of Grey Goose, like just drinking it at that point. I fully thought the limo just heard about how cool we were and showed up. I didn't know that anybody actually ordered the thing.
The most cringy part of that whole trip was the next morning, Cody, who was our art director and one of our business partners at the time, like stayed sober and kind of like recorded the entire night and then showed us the footage like first thing the next morning. And I was just like, oh God. So we're out of business now, right?
Hey,
we're done. That's the end of it. Anyway, so what's that?
Do we still have any of these advertisers?
Yeah,
there's a couple.
As a matter of fact, we think about people that were in this limo with, I think Denofa was in the limo with us.
Chelsea Denofa?
I think so, but it was when he was with, what is it, Drift Brigade.
Yeah, Mike Juku was in there. Blake Fuller from Braille. He's not there anymore. He sold the company.
Yeah, it used to be Braille Battery. There was a bunch of people and Chelsea Denofa, if he was in fact, I think he was there because what's his name was there from Drift Brigade. And he wasn't
Mike Peters with us?
Maybe. I don't know. It was
naming people that these guys have no idea what we're saying right now, so it doesn't matter.
It was basically, like some of these drift guys, like in the earlier days before they had, real jobs, and real sponsors and stuff like that. I remember actually seeing J.R. Von Gittin walk into the Venetian. And I remember everybody thought that he was there because he must have heard about us, like the limo.
Like it's over here, man. It's over here.
Yeah, we were like, no, it's right here. And he was like, all right, guys. Yeah.
Didn't at one point y'all like break into a convenience store and leave money on the counter?
Yeah. Okay. So we get in the. Let me think about what.
Let's keep it chronological.
Let's figure out how to tell this story and not criminally indict ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we get in the limo and we are going to get married. It's full on at that point. Like Brady and this chick are like just making out and it's on. We're picking up people along the way and booze. And then that reminds me of a side story where I saw a guy getting in a Mustang and I was like, nice Mustang, loser. And he was like, dude, it's a rebel. And I was like, that's what they all say. But anyway, yeah, so we were going to get married. And I remember we went to we went to the first place and it was a no-go. Like everybody gets out and of course it probably takes a half hour to get everybody back in the limo. And then we go
They told us you guys got to go get a marriage license before we'll do it. But we close soon, so make it fast. I remember it was something weird like that, the whole Britney Spears story they told us.
Yeah, I remember there weren't actually 24-hour weddings in Vegas anymore, which I couldn't believe. But I guess there are, but you have to already have the wedding license, and that closes at midnight or something. Mm-hmm. So that ended up killing the wedding because I think we tried, right? We went to like the courthouse or something. I don't know.
We went to the courthouse, and they were already closed. The janitor was not happy that we were there, beating on the window. I know that happened. And then I know that after that is when we went to said liquor store and, some stuff happened. And
I don't know what happened because I just walked in and it was unlocked.
I just walked in.
But no, because Marty was already in there. And I remember like seeing his little like shadow like running through with like a bottle of something. And I was like, what are you doing? Why are the lights off? And then we got over this place was closed. And that was like an oh crap moment. Because that was like, we're going to get arrested in Vegas. Like, this feels wrong. So we ended up, I don't know if we left money or what we did, but we got back on the limo. And we tried one more time to get married, I think. And then it just wasn't happening. Mm-hmm. So then from Woolie's point of view, I ended up with Dan and Tracy at the Stratosphere, but I just laid down on the sidewalk outside the Stratosphere, and that was kind of the last I remember of it.
Was that the night that Tracy was driving that Japanese guy around teaching him like bad American words and stuff?
No, yeah, she was teaching him how to say "show me your boobies," but that was the year before. That was that was the sign part. But
for my Atlanta guys, old school Atlanta guys, Dan and Tracy are the ones who used to own Battleground.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So the night continued on for Brady and his new friend, and I think they christened their relationship. They
consummated the non-marriage in the elevator and the hot tub.
and the emergency staircase. And apparently, I think that they thought that they were being real sneaky in the hot tub, and it was more like everybody was just taking photos. I think it was not sneaky at all. It was very, very obvious.
I didn't put soap in here, but it's foaming.
Dude. So then the next day, we all kind of get up and get to the airport, and I just, I'm getting filled in on details. And Brady, I wish you guys could meet Brady because literally Jonah Hill from Superbad. So we're like in the security lines, and you know how they like crisscross like that, right? So like He's talking to his mother, like, "Mom, you almost became a mother-in-law last night." Oh yeah.
He was smitten.
Yeah, oh yeah, he was in love. He was like, "She was a porn star, Mom," and like all this kind of stuff. And everybody's like trying to eavesdrop on this conversation because he's just loud by nature. Long story short, we took off. I about threw up on takeoff, and then we got home. She happened to be from Atlanta. That's how Joey knew her. And they got married.
They actually got married.
Like 4 months later.
Mm-hmm. They had a kid together.
Yeah, it was kind of like, wait.
Where is Brady now?
He looks like a gun store or something, doesn't he?
Yeah, last I talked to him a year ago, he manages a gun shop in Georgia.
He's married with a kid. He's settled down and quiet.
Well, he's not married any longer.
Anymore.
I'm sorry.
Still has a kid, though. And,
great story. It didn't have a happy ending.
What's that?
Man, I feel bad if Brady's kid in like 15 years finds this podcast.
No one's listening. It's okay.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Whatever you do, don't share this podcast. This is not the one we want to blow up.
If you're Brady's son, I know it's a little late, but turn it off. Turn this off right now.
Daughter. It was wild though, because that was like before The Hangover, the movie, and then when we watched The Hangover, we're like, yeah, it was about like that. You know what I mean? Like, it was just,
flashback, like Nom.
It was insane. I mean, it was embarrassing, but it was a lot of fun. Like, literally for 2 or 3 years, people that was like the basis for our SEMA meeting conversations. They were like, "So, how's your buddy? Brady's still married? How's that going?" Like, it was just became the thing. But yeah, for a while there, we used to go pretty hard. The problem was you can't beat that. Like it's one of those things where like, those like epic nights, you can't prepare for them. People try on like New Year's and it always sucks. And it was just we've tried for the past, 12 years. Well, not really, but at least for the 5 years after that, we were really trying
to
recreate the magic, and you just can't do it, man. It wasn't one of those nights where there was a big industry party. It was just like a fun night that just got out of hand, and it was like the perfect kind of Vegas night. And yeah, we've never been able to do that again. For a while, we had like the little SEMA like buddies that would be like, "Come on, guys, go do that night again." It's like, man, you can't force that. But no, man, it was fun, man.
We got too bougie. We started staying in real hotels with our own bed and stuff like that. So now it just doesn't happen.
I do think that was part of the problem. And for you kids listening to this, that's part of the problem with Airbnbs. See, you get stuck.
Comfortable.
You get stuck with your little niche like that. You gotta stay in the slum places. You gotta pack a bunch of people in there, and that's when
there's a balance between that. Greg Bussell, I want to say last SEMA, he hooked up with like 10 or 11 other homies, and they got like an Airbnb mansion. They had like a piano, pool, and everything indoors. I think that's the balance there.
That could be the balance.
Speaking of slumming it up, another awesome story was the La Quinta at Import Alliance in Nashville.
Oh, yeah.
I remember passing by that and you guys like giggling like schoolgirls talking about that place.
Several years of debauchery, and the cops are not fans of ours at all.
Yeah.
I'm pretty upset when we come to town now.
So, like, if you knew Import Alliance from the earlier days of Import Alliance, you know the La Quinta. It's kind of in this little triplet of hotels. There's a couple close by or whatever, and it's a total crap hole. We found a knife under the bed at La Quinta. I forgot all about that.
We found it because we were wrestling around and beating the crap out of each other and flipped the mattress over, and there was a murder weapon sitting there between the mattress and the box spring.
Nobody touch it.
And they were like, sorry about that. And that was the end of the conversation.
No, they didn't. What did they say? I can't remember. She said, "Did you touch it?" that was
touch it?
We're like, "We just found a knife under the mattress." And she goes, "Did you touch it?" And we were like, I don't. Maybe.
It's like they know they've been looking for a murder weapon.
Yeah.
We need to pull prints now. Did you touch it?
Oh my God.
Dude,
found it?
that place was a freaking mess. And back to Greg Bucell, I personally credit him for a significant part of how the La Quinta just went up in a blaze of glory. Like, it was insane. It was like maybe 2 or 3 magic years. You know, you have that one great year and everybody goes back and they tell their friends. So then the next year is kick ass. By the third year, everybody expects it, and it's still good, but like at that point, it's getting shut down before anything can really happen. And then that's all you usually get. It's 3 years of magic.
Yeah.
No, nothing like that. I love my wife.
Nick Bucell and Nick Weir. Those were the 2 maniac masterminds behind all the debauchery.
Yeah,
I heard that name before.
Nick does not screw around. Okay, so the girl, I don't remember exactly what this has to be like 2010, somewhere in that range. The manager, she is just not happy with her life at all. Like,
He's a manager.
They got surprised by us again. She is not having a good time. She's like ready to quit, and she's calling all the cops, you know, and trying to get this thing shut down. I remember, or Nick, like, okay, so there was like way too many people in the elevator, and she's like trying like with a broom handle to like get us out of there. And Nick somehow Spider-Man's like can you see me, like in the top of the elevator like that, like clear across the elevator.
Himself up.
He's like hitting the broom thing, going, get down. He's like, no, hit the close button. Dude, it's ridiculous. Finally, like there were cops like. We pulled up in Mike's truck at the time, and here comes Tracy Shahorn's name again. Like, we pull up, and all of a sudden, a beer bottle just goes crack across the side of the car. Like,
on my truck.
There's like 4 of us in the back of the truck because we just rode across the street. You know, Mike's driving. Mike's like, what the hell? And she just goes like, well, she didn't say wussy, but she basically went, wussies! From like the 4th floor of this La Quinta or whatever. It's just like, holy. Greg got everybody to roll to TP their balcony. I mean, it was just out of control. So finally the cops come in. They shut down all the outside shenanigans pretty much, except Nick Weir comes back and hired a limo. And basically hired the limo to sit in the parking lot with all of his friends just so they could antagonize the cops because the cops couldn't kick the limo out of the parking lot. And then the other kick-ass thing about La Quinta was it's right on one of the freeways or whatever. So, like, the cars would just kind of pair up and then go out and then hit the exit or the entrance onto the freeway and just rip by. So everybody's out in the parking lot, everybody's drinking beer, having a great time or whatever, or else everybody's on the balcony like overlooking this thing. Cars all night long, just ripping down the freeway. And then they get off on the next exit, you know, and so, but it was just awesome, you know, like all the best noises and everything like that. I'm trying to think of what I'm leaving out of that one. I guess that was about it.
That's crazy.
That was a lot. That's a lot to take in. I don't know if you need to do anything else in that
Well,
one.
that's the problem, dude. And I don't know if is Import Alliance settled down a little bit, or have we just gotten old? You know, and we're not in.
I think we're old and not getting invited to the parties anymore.
That could be it.
Yeah.
But I also I didn't intend for this to be a rip on Airbnb because I'm actually getting into Airbnb personally before this whole, you know, pandemic. But I think a lot of that's kind of what started killing it, man, because these dudes started getting together and trying to rent places, and then they'd start drinking and be like, well, hell, we can't go anywhere. We've been drinking, you know, and like it kind of killed that hub that used to be so much fun. Either that or we got old and the Stance kids came in and they were young and we didn't get invited to the parties. I don't know.
Hold on. Speaking of Airbnbs, there was one awesome Airbnb party at Import Alliance Atlanta a couple of years ago. You remember? Yeah. Who was it? It was
Shocker Joe.
Shocker Joe and those guys rented a mansion Airbnb.
I think it was the Slammed Enough dudes, wasn't it? And Shocker Joe. It was like Ohio and Tennessee, and those they all got this big mansion, and
I remember it was cool because it was like, you know, they were doing it kind of like crib style filming in there and stuff, but you would go in and it was like a 12-car garage, and you open up all the garage and it's all Hondas and Nissans and Toyotas and stuff in there instead of like Ferraris and Lambos.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
The whole time, they were trying to do it like crib style, and Shocker Joe got that girl. Again, it's kind of
naked in the hot tub.
Yeah, he got her in the hot tub, and then somehow somebody was like, "Take off your shirt." He was like, "If you say so." He was like, "Really?" But that was.
I've heard that one.
You've heard that story?
Yeah.
Because he was as shocked as anybody. That was pretty fun. That's where we met Chris Stewart from
like sitting in the foyer smoking a vape cigar or a vape pipe or something. It was like something very old timey and rustic looking, and just kind of like greeting people as they came in the door. That was his whole job for the night.
Remember, it was like he's like, all right. So if you don't know Chris Stewart, he runs Grid Life. He's a freaking genius. I mean, the guy is like, light years ahead of all of us as far as marketing and creativity and stuff like that. But he's a total hipster. So he looks like Gordon's fisherman. You know what I mean? Like he had the beard and he had like his legs crossed and he was in this nice leather chair with his little pipe. And remember his buddy was with him and the two of them were like Monopoly Man. They were just like, ha 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 ha, look at that over there. That's spectacular. Look at that. And they're like narrating the night or something. So stupid, dude. That's like, that's when we met Chris, man.
Man, and that's funny to me because Chris Stewart, like me knowing Chris Stewart as the Grid Life Chris Stewart, when you see him, he is in the game. Like there is no times to play. He's like, hey, high five, how you doing? I got to go kick this dude out who's got the bar upside down or something.
Yeah. Yeah, and then he rides off on his little JDM right-hand drive golf cart van thingy or whatever that he's got. But yeah, I mean, back in those earlier days, I mean, it hadn't exploded like that. Grid Life hadn't, So when Grid Life caught fire, man, it went fast, and yeah, now Chris is swamped. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, again, those were the good old days, man. It was funny.
Yeah,
funny.
Dude, Grid Life Midwest. I don't remember half of it.
Oh my gosh.
You guys want to tell the Slinky Man story?
Is this the first Slinky Man story at Michigan, or was it
the first?
No, the first time. Well, I was not really Slinky Boy in Vegas.
Michigan is where I experienced the most.
Wooly was the one that we were worried about in Vegas.
Well, explain. Why are you worried about? No, okay. So Wooly the year before might have.
Oh, that's one thing with Paul.
Yeah, and I blame Mike Sanders for that because I was trying to ease back on the carbs, and we were sitting at Grid Life.
Blame Honda.
Huh?
Blame Honda.
No, I blame. Well, yeah, and all their frou food, man.
Yeah, we went to like a super high-end expensive dinner where they're like, "Here comes your 15th appetizer, sir," and it's like a bite of kale and like fish eggs or something, and that's pretty much it.
It was weirder than that. It was some weird stuff.
Weirder than that.
It was delicious, but it was not filling and it was not helping to hold these back.
No. And they were only serving wine. So it was wine and like glitter.
No. They were serving whiskey too. That was where it went downhill. So we were drinking whiskey for like 2 hours while they
did not know that.
And I was smart because I actually plan out my days for semen. I'm like, wow, man, I have like 18 meetings tomorrow. I'm going to go back to the hotel. Well, he's like, nope, going to Old Vegas.
I'm trying to let him talk and not interrupt, but he's not being fair because if we back it up 2 months or maybe 3 months prior, we're at Grid Life. I'm trying to watch the carbs and we're drinking beer. And he looks over and he goes, I don't get it because you won't eat a sandwich, but you'll drink beer all day. That's like eating like 2 loaves of bread. And I went, what? And he was like,
that's like a
beer has carbs. And I was like, well, then I won't drink beer ever again. So I quit drinking beer. And the only time you'll really catch me like partying is at car events these days. I don't drink at home, so, a couple months goes by. We get to Vegas. I hadn't partied with my car buddies in a while. We're at this Honda party. Honda Pro Jason sitting across the table from us. And then a bunch of suits. And so as we keep drinking, me and Honda Pro Jason are like, understanding what's going on here. And as that night comes to an end, and apparently there was whiskey there, he goes, yo, let's get a limo and go to Old Vegas. And I was like, I'm in. And Mike was like, I'm out. And I was like, what? So Mike just totally bitches out. And I don't know, takes a little.
You can't say that. YouTube gets mad. We've been doing so well until that moment.
I didn't say that. YouTube, I didn't say nothing. So he gets on a little pink scooter and rides back to our hotel and goes to bed with Yusef. And me and Paul, Mike's friend, who's cooler than Mike, who just happened to be coming to SEMA with us. He helped us put a supercharger on Mike's Mustang. So to thank him, we took him to SEMA.
Took him to Vegas.
And yeah, this dude's fun and knows how to party. He was like, I'm in. No, actually, he wasn't at the Honda party. So we
he met you out there.
Yeah. I remember
we went our separate ways, and I was going back because he left SEMA that day totally tired and just done, and went back to the hotel and went back to sleep while we went to this frou-frou Honda dinner.
I remember busting in and being like, get the hell up, we're going to Old Vegas. And he was like, okay. He got up, no questions asked. And that's when I was like, you are so much cooler than Mike. And we went to Old Vegas.
Jesus.
We went to Old Vegas. It was Halloween. Wasn't it? Yeah, it was Halloween, which Hunter's going to know about this in a year, but I don't even know Hunter at this point in my life. And so they have this band at Old Vegas that's playing all the hair metal stuff, and I'm like in the zone.
Yeah.
Orange bandana.
If you need a place to party, truly party all night long on Halloween night, Old Vegas is the best place in the entire world. I don't care what any other big city says. Old Vegas, the slums of Vegas. It is sleazy, wild,
it is slutty,
awesome,
and it is dirty.
You're walking in the casinos, and every step is just a puff of just caked nicotine from the cigarettes.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is, these people dress up as zombies, or girls that are really pretty girls will have their makeup done, but then their face looks like it was eaten off. It's Vegas. These girls are the best in the world at makeup. You know what I mean? And and they never break character. So you're kind of going through the crowd, and there'll be 6 zombies that are just dragging their foot, and they just never break character. And you're like, man, this place is freaking weird, man. And especially when you've been partying at the Honda party, So Paul is playing catch up. Me and Honda Pro Jason, at least in my mind, are on the same wavelength here. I don't know if he was or not, but we're having a great old time. And then, things got hazy, and we don't want to talk about it. And
Wooly didn't make it to SEMA the next day, so Mike had to do all the work. Just leave it at that.
Dude, I remember. I'm going to tell the story just because it was funny in my mind. I woke up on the floor of the bathroom, and I kind of came to, and everything got unblurry, and there was just vomit everywhere. Everywhere. There's a bathroom inside of a bathroom, so you have the bathroom, and then the commode area is walled off and has this frosted glass wall, and it was just somebody gotten shot. It was just splattered.
He puked everywhere except the toilet.
And I was crazy hungover, but I was also in survival mode and cover it up mode, And so I'm cleaning this up, and I was like, oh my God, okay, I got to get to bed, man. God only knows what time it is. And I slide the door open, and the sun's out, and Mike's looking at me, and he's just like, you suck. I'm going to SEMA. And they had all gotten ready. It had 2 bathrooms in the place we were at, and so they had all gotten ready apparently, and we're gone. And so anyway, that was the end.
The funniest part of that whole thing for me was that we were on a group chat, and apparently you and Paul at some point, right when it started to go really downhill for you that night, you got lost. You guys got separated.
Oh, that's right.
Your text messages got progressively drunker. It was where are you?
It's a transcript of your.
I can't blame you.
I remember sitting there. I went to the bathroom, and when I came out of the bathroom, I was like, where the hell am I? It's everything is dark and blue, and I don't remember which way I came out. I was like, they're gone. They're freaking gone. I'm never going to see them again. And so I remember sitting there trying to text, and I was sitting there watching. I was like, why are my fingers not doing what I'm trying to get them to do? But again, guys, you know, just don't hang out with Mike, and that kind of stuff won't happen because it's all because he told me I couldn't drink beer. So I was drinking whatever they were giving me as if it was
stronger than that.
Yeah, you gotta watch. You gotta watch the pace, man. I don't know. I got away from.
I didn't drink at all before meeting Mike.
Before meeting Mike?
Yeah, before meeting Mike. When we went to Vegas, I had not drank a drop the first time, and then Mike was like, "You're getting drunk."
Everybody here listening, all 5 of you, don't drink with Hunter. He turns into this like slinky man.
God.
And it's just this like 6 foot something ridiculous baby that you have to take care of until he like is able to function again.
Correction. Okay. Mike and Wooly did not take care of anybody.
Wait. I know I've been talking a lot. I've been talking a lot, so I want to set the stage, and then I don't know, Jesse can maybe talk about the grid life, Hunter, because he was the one that like really got screwed over by that deal. But okay, so Hunter basically in the springtime starts hanging out with us. And you know, he's like a total just 5-year-old. Like, you know, you give him a beer and he's like, I don't like the taste of this. And it's like, oh God, okay, this is gonna be fun. So when we go to SEMA is on Halloween night, the night after my night. So I'm kind of taking it easy. Like I remember. And but we're all still partying and having a good time. So that's Hunter's first time, like with the honey whiskey or whatever we were drinking that night.
Oh my God.
He was like, now this I like. And so he's making the Wooly mistake, drinking it like it's beer. And so you have your first kind of experience there, but you held it together at least as much as the rest of us did. So no harm, no foul. But
Jesse got irritated with him, but that was about the extent of it.
Yeah, whatever. Then we go with the Type R to Grid Life Midwest, and I guess you hadn't partied since then, so you
hadn't found his limits. He was drinking in SEMA, but I want to say Mike bought the bottle and got upset that somebody was drinking the bottle that he bought and took it from Hunter before he could like take it all.
Yeah, you had to watch early Hunter because he's like a sneaky drinker. Like he's kind of weird. Like he'll like kind of turn around and just and then come back.
Because you bought the honey whiskey at you bought it at Old Vegas, that one store that stays open.
I don't remember.
Well, I remember that you bought that there, and I remember like there was a part of the night you were like, the hell happened to my whiskey? And Hunter's over here giggling.
Yeah, because Hunter's a little sneaky drunk, man. He just gets your bottle, and all of a sudden, where the hell did this go?
Oh no, you can't do it like that. So, all right. So yeah, all right. 6 months later, we're at Grid Life Midwest. Jesse.
Yeah.
Is this the night that Matt stole our car? Or is it the same
Oh my
night?
God! I didn't think you were going to talk about that.
It is.
It's
the same night.
I mean, it has to be said, just to set the stage, is that Grid Life's a long day. We went to go eat, right, with some other people. We were just coming back for a minute. That was the deal because Matt, our video guy for the Type R, was tired. And we're like, all right, fair enough. We're only going to go back for a second. We got to grab something. But then we got back and we see Levi. What's that?
And we're liars. We knew we were going to stay.
Yeah, basically. You go back and you see people and you start talking and one thing led to another. Was that the same night or was that the night after? I can't remember. Anyway.
It's the same night.
For whatever reason, we end up at Grid Life during like the festival part of Grid Life, like at night, you know? And all right, so that's the stage. Jesse, so what happens to old Noodle Boy Hunter at that point?
So first, I think we step away from y'all two so that we could film some stuff first. And we're having a couple drinks, but when we meet up back with you guys, somebody has a bottle. And within a 30-minute time span, I'm out filming. I come back and Hunter has downed a bottle of something. and I recognize it. I go use the restroom real quick, and he comes in to go use the restroom. I leave the restroom, and I'm waiting for him. I realize 5 minutes have gone past. Hunter's in the bathroom making homies with random people. And I'm like, Hunter, what the hell are you doing? Hey, man, these are my homies, man. Friends. They're my friends. I'm like, wash your damn hands. Let's go. And so we make it back. And so, like, we're hanging out at Levi's little area. And we're just chilling. And I'm just seeing Hunter, like, slowly melt into one shape.
Yeah, just become Slinky Boy, just falling down on himself, basically.
Because I remember me and Mike and Levi were in some sort of conversation. Jesse, you were playing it too, and then all of a sudden Levi looks over and goes, "Dude," he's like, "You okay, bro?" And you're just
I remember Hunter tried to get up to get something like a beer or something, and he couldn't do it. Like, he could not muster the strength and the coordination to actually get his arms to function, to move out of the chair he was in.
And Levi was the coolest. Like, he was
so cool about it.
It's cool.
He's like, it's okay, man. You're going to feel terrible. It happens to everybody.
Or two, first of all.
Hold on. Let me say this. I don't remember this at all. I am already so gone that I don't remember this at this point. However, the next Grid Life South, I see Levi. I turn, make eye contact with him. Haven't seen him since this night. And he immediately burst into tears of laughter. And I'm like, what are you laughing at? And he's like, all I can see when I look at you now is you just like commando crawling in between two race cars, blowing chunks.
So that was the worst part. So earlier that day, Hunter went to go buy some Grid Life swag. And of course, he gets there at the very end when they're sold out of everything. So he gets this like flesh-colored hoodie, right?
I love that hoodie.
Hoodie. Okay. Like, so he looks like some chick named Abby's new purchase as he's walking around.
Let's just call him Captain Willie.
And he's just like flopping all over the ground, crawling, puking everywhere. And we're having a fight now at this point about which car we going to put him in. Because at this point, Matt brought us our car back. And he hitched the ride with somebody else.
Before we made any decisions on that, he started to cough around Levi's area. So I was the one who helped him get up.
Yeah.
He was loose. He was, I mean, his legs zero function. I'm like, all right, man, you just stand up. I'm basically army crawling him, to the parking lot away from the grass area. So at least we could see where he's blowing chunks at. And he's chilling. I lean him up against the door. And I go sit back down, and I look over at him, and he's heeled over, and it's just like running down his arm.
Everywhere.
Yeah. And this is where we found out that Hunter sneaks little drinks, because we're just all sitting there going, how the hell did this happen? It was like a light switch. He was fine. Like what's the deal? Yeah. Because he kept turning around and just going, go, and then swinging back around like that. So,
Hunter, I hope your family's not listening to this.
Oh my gosh. I'm sure they are.
I remember it's a long car ride home. I remember I am basically.
Oh my God. Let me interject.
Not giving a single
Let me interject there. First of all, I'm trying to get Hunter into the car. And first of all, we have to like clear out half of the vehicle, the Honda Pilot.
Jesse is dad now. Jesse is just.
I drove the Type R.
I'm so disappointed in you. I'm going to take you home. We're going to talk about this tomorrow. So, like, Jesse has gone into dad mode.
Well, okay, so, and Woolie's gone full child. He's got Motley Crue blaring in the Honda Pilot. I'm driving. Hunter's in the back, heeled over, and I hear him, like, making active, like, throat sounds. So I'm like, all right, shit, he's going to go all over my camera equipment. Hunter, I need you to put your head out the window. And he's there for like 5 seconds, and I'm driving, and Woolie's just like not paying attention.
He was making the most god awful noises too. I remember.
Yeah, and
like a
to combat that, Woolie.
He kept saying weird stuff. What was he saying? He was like, Dad.
So I look back, and he's heeled over inside the car. I'm like, hey, bud, I need you to put your head out the window. He's like, I can't do it. I'm like, Woolie, you need to get him to put his head out the window. Woolie's like, no, I'm not doing it. Turns up the volume even more. I'm like, Hunter, you need to put your head out the window. He's like, I can't. I'm like, Hunter, you need to. I can't. And I'm like, Woolie, get the fuck back there, because I'm not going to have him blow shit all over my camera equipment. And Willie's just turning up the volume. And by the time we get to the Airbnb, mind you, it was like, what, a 5-minute drive? And so eventually he threw up on the side, and it ended up on the side of the Honda Pilot. And by this time, I'm like trying to like hold him over and push him out while I have one arm on the steering wheel. And Willie's just sitting there listening to Motley Crue at like volume 50,000.
All right, hold on. So Jesse's a saint so far, but then it's me with the problem to be dad. So he tags me in. These two assholes both go inside, and I'm like, where's Hunter at? I go to the other side of the Pilot. He is literally, the door is open. He fell out of the Pilot. He's like choking himself on the seatbelt. Okay, I got to undo him from his little bondage situation he's gotten himself into.
I remember that.
Into the house.
I remember I got out of the car and I'm like, come on, Hunter. And I opened up the door and he just went, whack.
No, dude, as soon as I parked, you reach behind you before you even put your seatbelt off. Reach behind you and open the door, and all I heard was, I'm like, all right, I'm done. I'm getting my shit on the side. This is your problem. He's your intern, not mine.
Yeah, so I had to deal with it. So I go to bring him in the house. Of course, we were in an awesome Airbnb. It was an awesome house right on a lake, but it only had one bathroom.
Which was a friend of mine randomly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was random. We got the Airbnb and then found out it's like a family member of his.
Yeah. So I take him, I put him in the tub, like not even just in the bathroom, like literally force him in the tub, and just I stay there until he is asleep. So I'm like, great, clean up. I go get in my bed. And I guess about an hour later, I hear Matt, our video guy, just yelling, Mike! Come out there. Slinky Boy has worked his way out of the bathtub and caterpillar crawled all the way back into the living room where Matt is sleeping and is just projectile vomiting on the floor.
Oh my God.
Screaming for his father the whole time, by the way, which Hunter's dad, I don't know, man. What is happening there?
God bless.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I don't think things were ever the same with us and Matt again.
No. Downhill from that.
In hindsight, that might have been our fault.
But let me just say, I woke up in my bed perfectly fine the next day. I was like ready to go to the track until we got into the car.
Oh my God, yes. Okay, so I woke up. As soon as we got there, I unpacked all my stuff. I started uploading content and got to bed. I woke up and Hunter just happened to be in the bunk bed right next door. And I was skeptical. I woke up and I was like, is he okay? Is he about to blow his shit all over again? Eventually he gets his shit together, gets in the car, and he seems fine. Obviously he's got a hangover. He's got glasses on. I've got him drinking water. And I look back and he's got this face. And I'm like, yeah, it's happening. And so he leans over and, of course, lays streak marks on the side of the Honda.
Yeah.
Poor Honda Pilot, all right?
That poor Honda Pilot, man. It endured a lot.
Dude, that's why in the reviews in the reviews where I say the Pilot is like durable, it's like, man, this thing can really just you can make a mess in this car and it can clean up and you'll never know the difference. It is a very utilitarian thing. Yeah, that's how we know.
I remember Hunter finally shows up to the track the next afternoon, basically, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm supposed to go for a drift ride along. Where's my helmet? Has anybody seen my helmet?" I was like, no.
Like literally,
so.
he's like
red flag.
A drift car. Go sit in the Honda Pilot. You're in timeout.
He's like, I gotta go ride in with Chelsea. Like Kelsey. He's like, here's my helmet. He's like, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, I was the next morning we had organized. We were supposed to film, and Kelsey Rowling, the Formula Drift Pro 2 driver, we were supposed to ride in her car. And so we went through a lot of effort to organize that. So I was like, I have got to get in this car. And as I grab my helmet, Mike takes the helmet from me and he goes, Hunter, you are not getting in that car. And I'm like, I've got to. And Jesse's like, don't worry, bud, I got you. So I went and got on the Honda Pilot. I guess I fell asleep and I woke up to Eli Bowman. Shout out to Eli, the videographer for Grid Life. All the main hype videos you see of Grid Life, Eli makes these. I wake up, my foot out of the window of the driver's seat of the Pilot, and Eli videoing me like a little schoolgirl going, "How you doing, buddy?" I'm like, "Go away, Eli." Yeah, that was so from my perspective that night, I know I had drank a couple of beers. I remember at some point somebody had brought some honey whiskey. We went out into Tent City. I remember being out there, vibing out there. Then we went to the silent.
That was the day where that huge storm came through and destroyed all the tents.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And then I remember going to the silent disco and Wooly being like, "What is this garbage?
What the hell?
All these
Grumpy old man.
blah, blah, blah."
This is stupid.
Well, that's how I was reacting to my Tennessee whiskey.
Damn kids.
I remember that. I do vaguely remember being in the bathroom because I don't remember going to the bathroom, but I remember Jesse coming in and me going, "Yo, these are my homies." And Jesse's like, "Why are you making homies in the bathroom?" And then, yeah, that's about all I remember.
I've got a video of that or something from that evening.
I do remember you making like an Instagram story or something about it, but yeah, I have not drank whiskey since that day.
Probably for the best.
It's all about finding your limits. It's all about finding limits. You found your limit.
The problem is we blew right past them. So we don't really know exactly where they are. They're just somewhere in there.
Dude, it was bad. Like, that's the worst I think I've ever felt. I did not feel okay until we were halfway home, because that next day was the day we left to come home from Grid Life. And granted, we had to drive the Type R back from Michigan to Atlanta. So I was I remember Wooly was mad because I was riding with Wooly in a Type R, and he was like, "You were the worst travel partner ever. You just sleep." Granted, we were in fixed back Barco, harnessed in, and I'm like strapped to this car, just gone.
He ain't going nowhere.
Dude, it was rough. That's the worst I've ever felt.
Oh man.
Oh, you're breaking up. You're doing so good.
Come on. It's an Alabama internet.
There we go.
So, in conclusion, S3 does not
drink.
What's
that? In conclusion, we all need to go to rehab because telling these stories back to back like that makes me know now that I have a drinking problem, and it's all your fault. All you guys, it's your fault.
But like Hunter's story, I was like, wow, we got issues. But in our defense, our car community's weird like that, because how many of our friends are the same way that unless we're all lying to each other, but like CRS Photo, Scott from Grip Royal, all these dudes that like we'll kind of party with, they're all like, "Yeah, I don't drink at all when I'm at home. It's just you assholes." Yeah. And I'm like, "But it's just you assholes that we drink with." So apparently this car scene does something to us. I don't know exactly what it is, but yeah, I'm normally a good little boy when I'm just hanging out around home. I don't go hit bars. I don't go out. I don't, just whatever.
I don't know why, but this just came to my head. I remember me and Jesse walking through Tent City.
Yeah, I remember that.
Tent City at Grid Life. It's long, deep, like in the woods. So we're at the very back, and me and Jesse are about to turn around because we're like, "Man, there's nothing going on back here." Until we spot a golf cart, right? On the back of this golf cart, just completely slumped with his head back, is none other than the voice of Formula Drift himself, Jared Deanda. If
I heard about my boy. We were
heard an announcing of Drift, it's Jared Deanda's voice. Jared is gone. And so me and Jesse pass by, and then we stop and we're like, "Yo," because there's not a friend in sight. Like, we don't know how he got back here with all these pedestrians, and it's just slumped. So we're like,
all
me and Jesse are like, "Yo,"
people.
Yeah, we're like Jesse, we gotta help him. And so we walk up, and we've done a podcast with him. You can go back and listen to our podcast with Jared. He knows us. He's a homie. But me and Jesse are like, "Yo, Jared, you're okay?" And he sits up and he goes, "Yeah, what's up, man? I'm Jared." And we're like, we're like, oh man, dude. He's like, you good? And about that time, once again, none other in the distance do we hear scream, but Greg Bucell, just off in some tent, and he's just yelling. And so Jared hears Greg, and then all of a sudden Jared just goes, yeah! And takes on in this crowd of people. And me and Jesse are just like, what's going on right now? And then that's how we discovered the Party Bullies.
Nice.
Show did. Yeah, Jared went from 0 to 100. We went from like, do we need to resuscitate him to we need a tranquilizer real quick.
He went from absolutely slumped to firing up a 2-stroke margarita machine.
Oh yeah, he did do that. That was pretty awesome.
Yep.
Well, Grid Life will bring it out of you, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's a fun time. If you've never been,
it's a must-see for a car guy, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we're at 55 minutes. Have we told enough stories?
Yeah, I'm thoroughly embarrassed.
A couple too many.
Yeah, I promise, guys, we're a lot more responsible. At least I hope we are in our day-to-day lives. But I guess that does it up for this week. I think we're talking about doing more than one podcast a week moving forward, right? We're going to give it a shot. So they might be a little bit shorter, not quite the 45-minute mark. So have that to look forward to. Of course, we still waiting, the whole coronavirus thing. It's stupid crazy. We're still working on getting the new issue out. It's going to be cool. But until then, go check us out. All our social medias, of course, www.s3mag.com. And one thing that I want to do is leave you guys with a question. What is the dumbest story that you've ever had with your car buddies, whether it be at an event, just in the garage at home? We've all done something stupid with our car buddies. So what's your story? But until then, guys, we'll see you next time. Have a good week.